This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
You know, it's one of the most underrated, I believe, the most misunderstood system within our body. But when you learn what this system does, it's almost everything in terms of supporting you through fluids, flushing toxins out of your body. I'm referring to the lymphatic system.
Right.
We're going to talk about that today and also how lymphatic massage, right away my ears perk up when you hear the word massage, how that can support you. She's going to give us a lot of insight on that. She is the founder of Path to Wellness in Tulsa. She's an RM. I don't even think we have enough time here to list all of her credentials, which goes from acupuncture to massage, on and on and on. It is so great to have her back with us. Teresa Wilkinson on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Steve. Now that I'm with you.
Hey, we had some connection problems in the beginning, so I was wondering if we were going to get together today.
Yeah.
So why do we not talk more about the lymphatic system in our body? And I feel that the only time that system comes up is when you have swollen glands, lymph node glands, you know, when you have a virus, a cold or something like that, the doctor will feel them right here, and then it stops. You don't even know what he's doing when he's doing that, but it does a lot for our bodies. It's critical, that whole system, right?
It is critical, and it's really as important as our circulatory system. It does parallel with it. So it kind of reminds me how cars, I think, were designed after humans. You think of a car having, two headlights, two eyeballs, and the mouth is the front bumper. And anyway, but if you think about it, we have a oil and gas system, and we have a water system in a vehicle. So they're they're crucial even in an automobile. So anyway,
yeah, I never thought of it that way, but there's a lot to be said about what you just said. The only difference in my mind is your oil, your gas, power steering fluid. There are pumps that move that through your body. The difference with the lymphatic system is ain't got no pump that moves that through your body, correct?
Well, there are there's pump-like systems, and they're going to be at the joints. And of course, say
yes, but I'm just gonna. I want to correct myself in saying that.
Yes,
you need to move for that to move in your body.
Yes,
like the heart, it's autopilot. In a car, you have the fuel pump, you have the oil pump, you have the power steering pump that gets everything going. You have to physically move for what you're about to refer to, for that fluid to go anywhere.
That is true. That is true. And I don't know if you've seen on social media, it's Asian. It's very interesting, and they say it's good to do every day. And I'm just going to give a small example of it. But they say, pat here, pat here, pat here, and then pat your abdomen here, pat here in the throat. But this percussion is pumping that lymphatic.
Wow.
And so they say if you do that, like 15 minutes every day or 10 minutes every day. So keep your eye out for that, because I've seen it over and over again. And that's probably another thing that I should bring to the table, that whole little routine. But it's kind of interesting how it's creating the percussion is creating a pump-like activity to make things move.
Now, I can't imagine, Teresa, older folks, they move less. So all this fluid, which we probably should get into why you want to move that fluid through your body, is stagnant in seniors that don't move around a lot.
Right. And of course, that's why they end up on diuretics and things, because they're sitting around. And thank God we have recliners where they can put their feet up and get some back flow going. But so therefore, a lot of times medications get involved in trying to balance this kind of thing. But I'll say our biggest issues that we deal with lymphatic problems are going to be diabetes with neuropathy,
Mm.
um, going back to the blood pressure and statins. We have, but then we have your basic uh, youthful young people episodes where they twist their ankle playing basketball or mountain biking and hit a tree or um, that kind of thing. So, and then I think we've talked before about side effects of some of the blood pressure medicine that can cause
Mm.
swelling. And that's when you need to go, okay, this isn't working for me. I need a different prescription, but anyway, the lymph, a lot of times what I see is post operative situations where people have had surgery. There's going to be stagnation to the surgical site, and they need to move that fluid through because that, going back to your term stagnation, anytime something gets stagnant, you're going to have pain, and also you're not going to get that flow of nutrients, oxygen, the things that create healing and reduce that swelling.
So when I ask you, and I haven't had major surgeries, but I've spoken before about skin cancer, and I've had like tons of surgeries on my body for that. But it's not deep surgery. Few of them were. Last month, I got 40 something stitches on my back for a low level melanoma. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that was just, they just found out, oh, look what we got over here. But back in February, I had, I think it was 40 stitches here, maybe more, for a squamous cell. And I've had basal cells and all that. I'm used to the
Well,
journey, but my question here is, what is the difference? See, I always thought after the surgery or surgeries that people have that it's the fascia which is underneath there. Like I can feel, a little bit right there. There's a little bumpiness, and a lot of surgeons say, yeah, well, just you got to keep, massaging that, and eventually it'll start minimizing, and you won't have such a bump. And then even just to make scars look better. Yeah, I mean, you can't even see it. I mean, that was a
right.
lot. There was a lot going on there. But I didn't have had no idea that lymphatic fluid could be building up after a surgery. Wow. Is that right?
Oh, exactly, exactly. Because it is uh,
Mm.
once there's been that incision and that it's gonna, and then of course you have the wound closure, but it's gonna sit there, and
Wow.
that's why it's always a big deal to get massages, and even at the clinics where they do um, plastic surgery type uh, surgeries, they're they have massage therapists on staff to start moving that, giving the massages right away, and
Wow.
getting as much as they can in before they leave and go back home. Because a lot of the surgeries are done in Florida and Mexico. Um, every city has their own plastic surgeons, but a lot of people will go to certain ones that are very popular on social media. That,
Sure.
uh, but so yeah, post-operative is the biggest thing, and then if you think even after a woman has a baby, one of the biggest things is they do the belly massage to help get that fluid and everything moving
Mm.
where that uterus needs that help. So, yeah, post surgery is the biggest, and then the next is going to be different disease processes, and then the next is going to be what you're talking about with just being stagnant, sitting around, not being active, um, and then so that's going to be your main things that are going to affect your lymphatics.
So I spoke with somebody a few years ago that was writing a book about the lymphatic system. And she couldn't find enough pictures of the system. Then there's, as I understand it, hundreds of lymph nodes, all different sizes in our bodies. She was using pictures from hundreds of years ago because they were accurate and they were detailed. I can't believe that we don't have that kind of stuff now. It's almost like we minimize this lymphatic system, but it's so important to our body, at the very least, to flush out the toxins within our body.
That is very interesting. And I will say, the ancient Chinese, even going back into, I want to say the Romans, the Egyptians, you go back into time, and a lot of times they did have a lot more detailed information than we have
Crazy.
now. And
Mm.
so, but there's so many different types of lymphatic massage. So I want to make that a point because I've had people argue about that, and there's no point in arguing about it because everything has a purpose. And one particular situation may need a technique that's different than another particular situation.
Mm.
And how you may approach it may be different. But going back to your melanomas, the skin problems. Were you out in the sun a lot as a kid? Are they attributing it to sun?
Son and relatives, mom, dad, aunt, all of that. Yeah, that's where it comes from.
Okay, so there is a formula on Amazon. It's called Ultimate Mushroom, and there's about 8 different mushrooms, and they really help skin big time. And if you can do that like a daily supplement to support the health of your skin,
Mm,
you may be able to prevent further
sure.
episodes and the continuation of this because that's a lot. But I will say
You have no
this.
idea. This goes back like 30 years. As a matter of fact, I'm transparent. I got nothing. I've had surgeries on my forehead, 28 stitches there, 28 there. They say I heal well. You can't even see it. I will tell you this though. I had surgery here about a month and a half ago, and actually surgery right there a month and a half ago, and that got infected. And I just went to the cosmetic surgeon Friday, the other day, to take a look at it to see.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, so and
It's
but tell
it,
me about that. Interesting. Ultimate mushrooms. What formula would that be? What would you call it?
that's
Is
what it's called. That's what
it?
it's called. Is Ultimate Mushroom Formula.
Wow. Interesting.
And then
Okay.
I can always send you a picture of it. Um, but anyway, I think it would be important for you since it helps the skin so much
Yeah.
that it could really help prevent having any more problems. And I know now the skin is the largest organ of the body, but just know that going back to our lymph is parallel with our circulatory system, and where we kind of get our little pumps, so to speak, or the movement is at the joints. So if you think about, doing a bicep move, you're going to be moving fluid through your arm. Going back to that percussion that I was showing earlier that the Asians do, um, we have a lot of lymph in our armpit, and that's where so many women that have the mastectomies have
Mm.
trouble with. If too many lymphs are removed from that area, then that can cause the whole arm to swell up. So now we've gotten smarter about compression um, garments and sleeves and things to help. There's some new gizmos out that I've seen recently that are almost like cuffs that go from the knee to the ankle that you clamp on, and there's a little electric stimulation to it, and it helps the movement of the lymph and your muscles and stuff. So some people that are diabetic have a desk job, set all day long. They need that extra help for helping their lymphatic. And so
Wow.
there's some new things out. And of course, after surgery, I don't know if you visited someone or had it yourself, where they will put on these compression leggings to prevent, say, blood clots and strokes from the surgery, because the
Ye-
body naturally wants to clot to heal.
So a couple of years ago, I had lymphatic drainage massage. I heard about it. I figured, let me try something different. Can't hurt. Surprisingly, at least in my case, and I understand this is for many, it is such a light touch. Like we go for a massage just to feel relaxation, maybe, soothe some muscles and things like that. And the first thing we say is, well, I'm paying for it. Give me the deep tissue. Get in there, grind away. The lymphatic massage is such a light touch, but was actually very relaxing. It's
Right.
amazing, right?
So there's probably about 10 different styles and techniques. So that light touch is probably a fraction of the different type of lymphatic massages out there. So
Mm,
just know that that's um, one style, but
sure.
it's not for everything. Because I don't know, remember I told you about the actor that came in and he was he was being a disabled vet and his ankles were 25 inches around
Yes.
and he couldn't walk. And it turned out to be a side effect to a new medication. But anyway, it wasn't a light touch to get. I went from 25 inches to 12 inches in those ankles. That took very deep work to milk that out
Okay.
with the acupuncture. So the acupuncture is kind of like the cream rinse to get the tangles out. And then I used that beamer, that PEMF device that we talked about before that does the microcirculation. Then I really had to go full force to get the movement that we needed.
Well, I can't
So
imagine with that gentleman's situation. I mean, his ankles being, what was it, 25 inches round?
yes, I measured it because it was so unbelievable.
And that
And
was, what was that? Was that a combination of fluid buildup, lymph node fluid? What was going on there again?
well, again, going back to kind of like you talked about without, no pump. Once, okay, 76% of our circulation is cell to cell. Only 24% is in our arteries and veins. So when we, through gravity, are you still hearing me? Okay, because
Loud and
I'm not
clear.
here. Okay, because I can't hear you. Okay, I'm back on now. Um, so when things get at a cellular level and backed up with the fluid, those cell, and then you've got gravity, then that fluid gets stuck and it doesn't have the ability to return. Number one, it doesn't have the pumps you talked about. Number two, it's not like arteries and veins that have little leaflets and things that bring the fluid back. It's stuck at a cellular level. That's why those uh, PEMF devices are so critical, because they start getting things moving at a cellular level. Now, what's cool about that machine that I work with is it's the exact frequency of our body and of the earth. And so it really, I want to say, has more benefit because it's exactly our same frequency.
So when somebody says, "Oh, I'm retaining water," or let's say they have high blood pressure and they're on some meds, whatever it may be, and somebody has, maybe they feel swollen, bloated, their ankles are um, larger, is that mostly being retained in the lymphatic system?
It's in the lymphatic system, but it's also cellular at a cellular level.
Okay. Wow.
Because again, if you look at pictures of the lymph, it's kind of like vessels. It's lateral vessel like structure.
Sure.
So sure, we have that going through our body, but when we have say ankles this big or the swelling at that level, it's actually stuck at a cellular level.
What's your advice for somebody who wants to best support? They're hearing this, they're like, "Well, I have no idea what's going on in my body," and that this lymphatic system flushes out the toxins. Is your best advice? And we're just about out of time, but we can
Yeah,
do a part two on this one. Best
yeah, we
advice
will.
though to seek out some type of lymphatic drainage massage, just maybe as a um, maybe as part of your healthcare routine.
Yes, I agree, and I see it more and more. It's gotten to be more and more popular. People are becoming more and more aware of it. And then I want to just throw in the fact that we do have these detox foot baths that work with an ionic element, and they will pull toxins. So
Wow.
not only do we have herbal formulas that can help detox, but we do have that detox foot bath, and I've seen quite a bit in that.
I've done
And
them,
then
and I always wonder, like, is this legit? And here, your feet are in this
I know
clear water, and then I don't know, half hour later, you look down and it's like dark brownish, like,
ex- exactly.
oh, and that's
So
the toxins.
yeah, and what sold me on it was I was at a health fair, and this is years ago, but I saw a worm come out of a lady's foot. And it did not surprise her. She said that she grew up as a missionary situation in China. They ran around barefoot as kids, where say the chickens and all the animals are running around, and so it did not surprise her that she had a worm come out of her foot. So that's what sold me on it. I thought, okay.
I think we'll end at this point because I'm going to need some time to process that. Um,
Well, I was impressed. That's what impressed me. That okay, this really does detox. This
yeah,
is really pulling stuff out.
and it can't be BS, where if you wonder, like maybe they're doing something and they're changing the ions in the water and it's changing color. That's they, yes. Never didn't see that one coming, Teresa. Wow.
I
Wow.
will say you do have to add salt to these detox foot baths, and there's something about the salt again that
Yeah.
helps pull out toxins because salt
Crazy.
is very purifying. So yeah,
Crazy.
we've got a lot of different techniques and situations that we can talk about with it, but just know that it's not always light, but that's one of the main techniques that people learn. But there's more to it than just that.
Mm. Shall we put a pin in it, as they say, and return to part two of
Yeah,
the
we'll
lymphatic
do.
system?
Yeah, we'll do part two.
Yeah, it's
I think it's
so
a
much. There's
lot
so
to
much to
it.
talk about, and it's such an important. Listen, when people have cancer and they say it's stage 2 and 3, where do you think it is? It's among other potentially other organs in the body. Excuse me, but it's the lymphatic system that it's spread to, right?
Yes, exactly. And the other thing is IV nutrition is very important to help treat that. And I've known people with Hodgkin's lymphoma overcome
Right.
through not only diet but IV nutrition because you're that IV fluid in that formula is flushing that cancer out and getting good nutrition in. So
Wow.
there is some good things to do to help on that, but it does go to the lymph system. So you're right.
Well, again, I'm transparent. Back in February, when I had the surgery on my neck, they called me up and told me we think it's stage 3. And I said, that doesn't sound right. This thing only just popped up 10 weeks earlier. I went with my intuition, got another doctor, got more tests. It wasn't. It was stage 0. It was just surface level. But the reason I'm even bringing that up is what was next to it? Major lymph node in the neck. So when they were
Yes.
trying to look at the imaging, it looked like it had infiltrated that lymph node. It did not, which that's why further testing was required to really confirm that. And it was all good. It
Uh,
was all good. But to your point, there's the lymph nodes. Things can spread
yeah.
into them, and it's why it's so important to support them and flush them out and keep it on your radar. because it's not on
Yes.
anybody's really. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and there is a lot of lymph going to our brain too. Uh,
Yep.
so there's got to be a lot of connection right there too.
Yeah, and as you can tell with my intelligence, it's clear that I need a flushing very soon.
Oh,
Uh,
now.
Thank you for
Well,
bringing this
well,
to our attention. It's really important. And you're located in Oklahoma, tulsapath.com. Anybody has any questions about this? Can they reach out to you? Would that be all
you
right?
bet. Yeah, you bet.
Also, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. If you have any questions about anything we talked about or even future topics, we'd love to entertain them. Teresa, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention today. So important. We'll pick up part two next time we get together.
Okay. TulsaPath.com is the website. So
Yep.
you can reach out.
Beautiful.
All right. Look forward to it.
Likewise. We'll catch you next time.
Okay.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.